if your man is struggling financially, you would probably not be comfortable if he got you a huge engagement ring. You know his budget, and it would make you uncomfortable. So conversely, does this work also? If dude is making a buttload of money, is he obligated to buy a really expensive ring? Is really the problem we're having in this email today.
I know there is no way to ask for opinions without some people hating me and thinking I'm superficial. I swear I'm not. However,
But
I'm feeling pretty angry, and I like to know that my feelings are justified before I confront my fiancé about the situation. So about 2 weeks ago, we got engaged. We've been together for 2 years, and he proposed on our 2-year anniversary. Wasn't completely shocked that he was planning to ask me. He had been hinting at it, and I made no secret of the fact that I was ready. So after our 2-year anniversary dinner, he got down on one knee and pulled the ring out of his pocket and asked me. Of course, I said yes. I was on cloud 9 for a few days, but then it all changed. I've always known he was engaged before, even though I had never met his previous fiancée. I've looked her up on social media before, but it had been a while. Part of me started getting curious about their engagement and the ring he gave her. I had never seen the ring, so I decided to scroll back on her Instagram feed and see if I could find any pictures of the ring. I actually ended up looking at the photos she was tagged in and not her own feed. Turns out, one of her best friends tagged her in a few pictures after she had gotten engaged, and one of the pictures, we just of the ring. While the style isn't my taste, I couldn't help but notice how much bigger her ring is than the one he used to propose to me. Hers is noticeably larger. My ring is very simple, and the diamond is much smaller. Her ring had to be significantly more expensive than the one he used to propose to me. I would understand that if he made less money now. However, I know he makes a lot more now than he did 5 years ago. I know because we've talked about it. I was always under the impression that the size ring you give her should be a percentage of your salary. So if he makes more money now, shouldn't my ring be bigger than the one he purchased years ago? So, is it understandable for me to be upset and insulted that he made a bigger financial sacrifice to propose to her and gave her such an expensive symbol of his commitment? That's a good way to put it. It's funny. Should I tell him how I feel? I don't know that I can keep it quiet and enjoy the ring when every time I look at it, I feel insulted rather than loved.
Oh, my gosh.
It would be really easy for you guys to call up and rail on this woman for sure. But is there anybody listening that actually kind of agrees with her? 1-855-BERT Show.
Well, here's the problem. She went looking for trouble and she found it.
Mm-hmm.
She specifically went looking to compare her ring to the ex-fiance's ring. And there's a reason, like, it didn't work out between him and the ex-fiance. He learned a valuable lesson. Maybe he spent way more than he ever should have on that ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he overextended himself.
That's what I thought.
And then they don't even get married, and it was a very, very expensive lesson to learn. So now he gets a more modest ring, and we say this all the time on the show. Comparison is what?
The thief of joy.
She did
Miss
this.
Klingshern.
She did this to herself.
I think she's being tested, and she needs to shut up if she wants to be married. Hang out for an upgrade ring somewhere down the line, but he messed up with the first one. She didn't say he was married, right? She just said he was engaged before.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't work out because he blew it on that ring, and then that was probably a superficial, crazy broad. And then she was like, went nuts even after the ring, and he was like, okay, we're making a mistake. We need to not do this. And then he's like, I'm going to go mild with this one. Mild sauce from Taco Bell. You know what I'm talking about? He's like, I'm going to take it easy, small ring. And if she starts flipping out about a tiny ring, then I'll know she's not right for me because she's just as superficial as the other broad. You're being tested. Shut up if you want a husband.
Dudes don't test.
Nah.
Yes, they do.
I'm telling you,
I don't
man.
think he's
Yes, they
testing her at all.
do.
Wade smart enough to test.
Nah, I think it's what KK said. I really believe he probably looks back on the situation and realizes he made a mistake. And it doesn't mean that she's going to be a mistake. It just means he's making smarter purchases now. And I don't think it has anything to do with how much he loved her or how much he loves her.
And
It's
maybe
none
he
of
didn't
that.
get the ring back. Like, maybe she kept that big old diamond, and now he was out all that money. So, men, your woman approaches you. She did digging on social media.
Yeah.
She compared the ring to the ex-fiance's, notices hers is bigger than the one you gave her, and she approaches you with this and says she's hurt how do you respond?
That's a values changer right there, man.
I would look at her differently.
Yes.
I would be furious.
Me too. Yeah. Brianna, good morning. I'm looking for people that actually agree with her. Like, if the dude's making that kind of cash, I should get a big ring.
Yeah, so for me, it's not necessarily about the money, but I was my husband's second wife. And for me, it was an emotional thing because the money was really about the same. But he constantly was telling me about how his first wife was such a mistake and it was not who he was supposed to be with. And he was so upset he was with her and I was his soulmate and I was the one he should have waited for. And so when it wasn't something I went and looked for, but I just found out that my ring was not comparable to hers. And it was kind of like an emotional gut punch to where he knew that I liked flashy things and not over the top like bachelor rings, but I liked nice big fancy diamonds. And so it was kind of like an emotional, I was going to marry him anyway and I loved him as much anyway, but it just hurt my feelings. So everything was just the same as it was, but then on our 10-year, he did upgrade my ring.
Okay. So you finally, 10 years later, matched up to the ex-wife.
And I know it was petty, and I know it was silly, but it was really just kind of it hurt my heart because I was like,
all right.
Oh, she was a mistake, and then I was the one, and then my ring was smaller, and I felt that way for a while, but I didn't say anything until after we were married, and after a while, I did tell him, it hurt my feelings.
Petty, silly, but honest. T, good morning. You're on the Bert Show.
Okay, so I don't totally agree with her. I mean, she did say in her letter that she looked at the letter, and the letter, I looked at the ring, and the ring was not her taste, so he could be going off of how her personality is. Okay, I overdid it the last time. She's a simple girl, doesn't like things this big and grand, so I'm going to give her something that's more suitable for her.
Well, clearly he miscalculated that.
He was wrong.
He sure did. And what is this rule about the ring is supposed to be a percentage of your salary?
Yeah, there's etiquette where
3 months salary.
Yeah, 3 months salary for a men's salary. They're supposed to save up for 3 months.
Really?
Mo,
I'm sorry.
you okay? Are you planning something we should know about?
I ain't know. 3
His
months.
heart stopped.
You might as well be like, I've been unemployed for 3 months.
That's it. Yeah.
Sorry.
How about 1.5?
You're going to haggle with your future wife.
I'll know when Mo's going to propose because he's going to ask me for a pay cut.
Hey, can we knock this down for a couple months? I got a plan.
I just need 3 months for you to cut my salary.
You're so rotten.
Can I get a month and a half and a month and a half and a month and a half? 2 months.
So,
The Bert Show.